I'm Barb Morrow, and I have been with Camta. We started Camta, my husband and I, and a couple of other people in 2001. And so then we had our first year in Quito, and it was wonderful. It just gets more and more wonderful every year. It's very addictive. I'm well over my 5-year mark.
Worked with the people from the university over there. It was called Universidad de San Francisco de Quito. And the deans were really committed people to looking after the needy people that had needs. And they introduced an orthopedic surgeon to us, and his name was Dr. Luis Piedrita. And Luis was the first orthopedic surgeon that we met down there, who at the airport on the first time we went down to Quito, and worked with us for many years. So we started in this small hospital, and I'm sure you've heard that it was called Tierra Nueva Fundación, or Fundación Tierra Nueva, in the southern part of the city of Quito, where there's mostly warehouses and that. And it was Father Carolo was his name, and he had started this hospital, and so we were able to work there every year. And then as we got more successful, then we decided to double, and that's when we went to what you have experienced, is to have 2 teams, so they're about 10 days each.
Camta means a lot of things to me. One of the things that it means to me is it's a chance for me to provide, it sounds really corny, but giving back. It's a chance for me to provide something that is bigger than myself. It's a chance for me to strip away money, strip away other motivators, and be with other people who are committed to the same collective goal. And it's a chance for me to do something in a meaningful way and not tell my kids about it, but show them that I'm doing it and role model that. And hopefully that influences them to understand the values as well.
I take care of children, so just seeing the lengths that parents have gone to get their kids to a Camta clinic. One 13-year-old boy came with his mom on like a 12 to 20 hour bus ride from Colombia my first year as well. Seeing the impact that Camta's had and how far-reaching it is.
A lot of the people we're operating on, and it's young ages, I think probably 14-year-old for joint replacements up until we've started doing people in their 80s, and for some of the young women. So if you have an arthritic hip, you limp or you walk funny, surprisingly or not, maybe you're not marriageable. Some of the younger men, you have an arthritic hip, you can't work. You're a carpenter and you can't work anymore, you can't support your family. They don't have the social supports that we have here in North America. Oh, it's extremely gratifying. I mean, we go down there and the patients are so thankful, and you'd think that we're doing this great thing. Really, we get more out of it than they do. It's a rewarding experience when you go down there on the first day in clinic. Instead of here where patients would come in one at a time, so they have an appointment at 8 o'clock and they're there for 8 o'clock. Everyone comes there first thing in the morning. You walk into the clinic and all the patients for the day are there. And they're cheering for you, and Camta, you feel like a rock star walking through there.
Well, I talk about how the people over there are so appreciative. They're so grateful.
There's a lot of reasons that keep me coming back. I don't know if I can condense it to just a few, but one of the most important ones is the opportunity that we get to spend a lot of time with patients. I think in the Canadian system, we're so focused, especially right now, with throughput, with getting people through the system, so in and out, and you don't get to really connect with people in a really meaningful way. You don't get to hear their stories, you don't get to experience their journey in the same way. And I think as well, the people in Ecuador are just so gracious and so so in need of the care that we're able to provide to them, and it's a good thing and a bad thing that, you know, in Canada, universal health care is sort of in our DNA. It's an expectation that we have that if you have a medical need, it can and should be looked after, and there's nothing wrong with that mentality. But when you're serving and helping the people that don't have that same privilege, that don't have that same entitlement, they come to the table with a totally different approach to the people that are there to help them.
Mm-hmm. I think one of the things I end up telling people when I start talking about Camta is the volunteers. When I started with Camta, I expected to be very moved by the patients and their gratitude and how happy they would be, but I found even more moving were the volunteers that I get to work with. You expect gratitude from the patients, but I didn't expect to see so many people so willing to give freely to others who need that.
One of the things I've said about Camta many times is that it's like the ultimate team building experience. So if you break it down into elements, there's a clear objective. There's not much else we do. We do basically two types of operations. We're there to help people, and you have a very functional group of people who are going down to help out.
There's such just a gratifying sense of purpose in the work that you're doing every day, and to be able to sit down at the end of the day and share a meal and talk about what you did, but beyond that, talk about everybody else's lives and how it's being impacted by this trip. It was very, very refreshing.
We provide a care that they can't really find sometimes, or they can't afford, especially. So having us come is for them sometimes a miracle for each one of them, right?
I really love that it's a local charity, and there's such a great community of folks who are able to come together and get a whole lot of work done in just a few days, and we can actually send back home to our donors tangible. So I can say, you know, you gave me this $25 and here's the little boy whose crutches you bought.
I just feel that sometimes with charities you give the money and you don't know where it goes and you can't keep your eye on it. With this charity, it's so upfront, everything's tangible, everything's visible, and you know exactly where your efforts and your donations and your money's going, and you know that it's been well cared for and respected, and I think that's really key.